Welcome back to Squawk Box this morning. Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter and Square, making a very big donation to help fight the coronavirus outbreak. I want to get over to Robert Frank, who joins us with that story this morning. Robert.
Good morning, Andrew. Big indeed. Jack Dorsey pledging $1 billion worth of shares in Square. That's about 28% of his wealth to help fight the coronavirus and other causes. Now, he said the funds will go to, quote, disarming this pandemic, and then to girls' health and education, and then also supporting a universal basic income. The public will be able to track all of this giving through a Google spreadsheet. Now, this could be the largest COVID gift by far. Bill Gates giving about $105 million to vaccines, testing, and cures. Jeff Bezos and Michael Dell also giving or pledging about $100 million each. Now, Dorsey is giving 19.8 million shares to an LLC called Start Small. Now, LLCs, unlike 501c3s or foundations, they can make donations to political causes, they can earn profits, and they can invest in for-profit companies, and they aren't required to give away 5% a year or to disclose their tax filings, which foundations and 501c3s all have to do. Now, these are very popular, the use of LLCs in Silicon Valley, since they give donors a lot more flexibility and control. Dorsey gave about a third of his Twitter shares to employees shortly after he took over as CEO in 2015. Dorsey saying that he hopes this gift will encourage others to give as well. Back to you, Andrew.
Hey, Robert, it's a remarkable thing for Jack to do. One of the questions I had just about the LLC, and I know we've talked about LLCs over the years, are LLCs tax deductible? Meaning when the shares move from his personal account, if you will, to that LLC, the whole thing gets deducted? Eventually,
here's how it works. So he takes those appreciated shares, gives it to the LLC. He does not get the immediate deduction, which he probably couldn't take anyway because his income is so small. That LLC, as it gives those shares as grants to charitable organizations, he then does get the charitable deduction. But more importantly, he doesn't have to pay a capital gain at any point while giving those shares away because he's not selling them. The LLC is giving them directly to charity. So eventually, yes, he gets the charitable deduction. It's not all in one fell swoop, but this is the sort of take and eat it to charity because he can sort of keep the shares, control them, control the voting, but he doesn't really, but he also gets the benefit of having given to charity.
Right. So, Robert, here's the great conundrum that I was thinking about last night when I saw this news, and I think it's fabulous news and so generous of Jack to try to do. But from a public policy perspective of the $1 billion, normally, if capital gains were treated as income, half of that, $500 million, would go to the federal government. And at a time when it's clear that we are so resource-starved and haven't clearly raised enough money relative to the way we've lived even in the best of times, there's part of you that would somehow want to figure out a way for the government to have access to that. At the same time, from a sort of marketplace perspective, it's people like Jack Dorsey and others who may ultimately be the ones that are going to solve this crisis and get ahead of the government in this case. And so it's a very complicated trying to capture that balance of how do you make this whole situation work.
Absolutely. And look, all of this is essentially tax subsidized. Anytime anyone gives to charity, it's tax subsidized. But I think Jack Dorsey would say this is a great thing. He encourages others to do the same. And the issue of whether those appreciated shares could eventually be taxed, which is something we've talked about with Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, all these people have done so much good, but ultimately never had their wealth taxed. That is a policy question that I think he would agree needs to be discussed in Washington. And after all this is over, with trillions of dollars in debt, I'm sure it will be.